Today I have a live interview with a remote sales rep who does $12,000 a month. We're going to be going through his day-to-day, morning, afternoon, evening. He's an absolute beast at what he does. But if you want to see the offer that he sells, his commission structure, and how he actually makes the $12,000 a month, we actually recorded a video last week that you can watch up there. But without further ado, let's dive into the interview.
Last thing I wanted to just cover is a day-to-day work through. Is there something that I could just kind of explain a bit more easily for someone to understand of what it looks like morning, afternoon, night kind of thing?
I usually start my day with the morning meeting, which starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So 8 a.m., I'm on the morning meeting. I get there like 30 minutes before, get all my notes and stuff together for the morning meeting, kind of share like what our projections are, kind of any issues that have been popping up, talk about anybody that it might be a little bit different of a set, kind of go over some of the people we set and what they look like and get the closer kind of more prepped to talk with them, kind of thing. That's like the morning meeting. And then after the morning meeting, I kind of get into my day. So, but after the morning meeting, I get into what calls I have for the day. And then depending on what's going on, I kind of block off a time or find a time I'm gonna have lunch. So I kind of have a very fluid lunch time. And so I put lunch in where it's not so busy. And then any gaps I have in between, like triage calls that I do, which are like 15 to 20-minute calls where I see where they're at, see if they're a good fit. And I do it all on video calls like this. So I sit at my desk and I have a video call so they can see me. I'm talking with them.
How many times a day are you on like a video call like this with someone?
That varies, right, with how busy things are. It ranges from sometimes on a slow day, it's like 2 times in a day. Other times I've had stacked where I had like 20 calls in a day. So the funny thing about my hours, when things are really busy and going well, I work less hours. When things are slow, I work a lot more hours. But those days I was working like 4, maybe 6 hours a day. But now I work a bit longer hours because things are a little bit slower, and we're talking to a lot less qualified people all of a sudden. And so I have to sift through a lot more people to kind of get the closer filled up, right? So now the hours are more like a consistent 8 hours a day kind of situation because it's slow. Yeah, exactly. It's slow, so I have to work more to try and make up for the slowness. But when it's busy, I'm full up and everybody's like, it's like, it's kind of an interesting thing back because like, what a weird situation. When things are busy, I work less.
And then you have a triage call with them that's like how long? Like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes?
15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, it tends to be 20 minutes a lot of times. If they get booked in, 15 or less if they aren't qualified.
What's your end goal for the end of this triage call?
The end goal is really just to see if they're qualified or not. Well, I'm just here to help this person and point them in the best direction.
Yeah.
So I'm either if they're a good fit for mentorship, I'm going to send them to mentorship. If they're not so good for mentorship, but they're like on the edge or they're just starting out, I'm going to send them to what we call the OTA, the Online Trainer Academy.
So you can point them in like a lower end offer, or you can point them in like a mid-tier offer with a closer. Is like the lower end offers like a course or like $1,000 type thing?
It's like $1,800 now, but yeah, so it's like that is like all I have is the mentorship, the $1,800 do it yourself, and then free resources. We'd start, I'd be like, hey Ethan, how's it going, man? Stoked to talking with you. Where are you calling from? Normal intro stuff. Then I'd be like, cool, man. Well, let's get into this. Today we're talking about this and this and this. Frame the call, and then I get into talking with them and seeing where they're at, what's going on, and then if they're a good fit, then I set them with the closer. And if they're not a good fit, then I refer them to something else.
And then depending on how they answer, you send them over to a closer who will close them on the offer.
Yeah, who goes into a lot more details and tells them what this what's going on, and really seeing if it's a good fit for them. And obviously, if it is, then they come in and they enjoy our services. If I could if I just had everything down pat and I didn't have ADHD and my brain didn't blank on me all the time, like I know some people might be able to just walk around and like be grocery shopping while on a call, right? If they wanted to do that. But I can't do that.
What percentage of your day is like just taking the triage calls?
Most of my day would be triage. Well, it depends again, right? These are hard questions because it's like if I have a full day of triage calls, I'm only doing triage calls.
Sure.
But if I have 2 triage calls for whatever reason, then I got to go out and look for some more. And so I then my majority of my day is on follow up and messaging people on Facebook that are in our group. So I do those calls, and then in between those calls, I just hit follow up and message people and talk with people. So this offer I'm on currently is all organic social media. So like they send a post saying, hey, respond mentor if you're interested, and then also the respond mentor. And that's one of our more direct ones. Then we have like indirect ones that are more like, and we call them like spear posts, right? Or the marketing team will put out something that says something like, hey, do you want to learn how this guy started his gym, and or how this guy went online and did this? Message me case study 2 or whatever. And they send like a keyword. And then DMs, what I used to do when I first started, but they have like a person doing it now, is I'd go in the DMs and I'd start talking with them and like being like, oh, hey, here's the thing. But by the way, where are you at in your business?
Right.
Cool. What's this? And I qualify them a little bit there. And then if they're like qualified enough, I book them into a triage with myself. And then I'd talk with them on triage. So like this is what it looked like, right? If I remember correctly. Hey, super glad you reached out. Here's the link to this or that, or like, where are you at currently with your online coaching? Like how many online clients do you have? Like, oh, I got 5. Nice. Awesome. That's solid. How much a month is that bringing in for you in income? Right. And then they're like, oh, like that's bringing me in like $1,000 and $250 each kind of situation. I'm like, okay, so that's like 1,000 too. Okay, got it. Solid, nice. And then do you have any in person? Like, what's that look like? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing this in person and this, and my majority of my income's from in person. Okay, cool. What is the biggest thing that you feel like you need the most help with to kind of break through? Or are you even interested in growing online? And they're like, yeah, I'm super interested in growing online. And if I could get into it and start matching my in person, that'd be ideal. It's like, okay, cool, perfect. And what's keeping you from doing that? It's like, oh, like I just can't get the leads, or my like everybody's word of mouth. I don't know how to do this organic social media stuff, or I just don't have the time. My time management's all messed up. They say whatever reason, and then you respond, oh, awesome. Yeah, we see that all the time, actually. I think the best next step would be to talk to someone on my team, and we can go into details about how that can look and best next steps for you. These are the times that are available. What do you feel like you should do? And they like pick a time, or they say, oh, I've been looking into this thing, and I'm not looking for any kind of coaching right now, whatever their response. But and then if they book in, then they book in. So that's kind of like the flow there.
I got it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was just one of the freebie things of like a hook to get people to talking in the DMs, and then from the DMs we convert them into a call with me, and then from there we convert them into a call with the closer, and then from there they go to the mentors inside and get fulfilled and do all the tests.
What would you say to someone who's on the fence about appointment setting, unsure about it? They don't know if they're going to be successful with it or not.
The biggest thing here is that you learn the one skill set and you go provide that service for the business. And it's cool because I am my own business technically, right? I have my own LLC. They pay my LLC pays me. And so you're really showing up as like a provider of a service. You show up, you provide this service, you fill this role for a company. Maybe even 2 if you're crazy enough, right? But you provide the service for a company, and then they pay you for it. Like as long as like the situation I'm in, it's a result-driven situation where it's 100% commission. There's other ones where you get a base plus commission and things like that. So, and that's negotiable too. You can talk to these. I know when I was doing my marketing agency, there's so many hats in any other business that I've tried that it bleeds you. You get hit with overwhelm. At least I did. And then I just fall apart. And so maybe someone else is crazy, but like I kept trying. I keep pushing it. Even all my friends and family was like, "Why do you keep trying this business stuff? None of this stuff is your problem. Marketing isn't really your problem.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff isn't your problem. Your only problem is, okay, how do I talk to people and how do I get them?" And that people are already interested. By the way, they're already interested in what's going on. It's usually who you're talking with. How do I talk to these people and get them on to call with the closer? And then the closer does the hard work too. So like being the setter is like the easiest spot. You're just like, yeah, dude, you just be buddy and you be friends. And I'm genuinely interested in these people. I'm not trying to sound like I'm not. I'm genuinely interested in people.
Sure.
I've seen the change that I've made in people's lives by me reaching out and them coming in and they start doing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 months in their business. And I'm like, I was part of that process. I wish I could make that much. Like, oh man, I'm sitting here 10,000 a month. Like I want to be at 30,000 a month, and I'm helping people get there, but I haven't been there myself. Dang it, I'm a part of that process. Yeah, and those people that are doing those businesses, that these like online training or coaching, they're doing the marketing themselves. They're doing the outreach. They're doing the closing call. They're doing everything themselves, right? It's super complicated. There's a lot going on. It's hard to manage, and even now, right, running just this business that's pretty the simplest business I've ever done. But this is the most successful business that I have ran so far, and it's providing for not just me but my daughter and my wife, and we have like a 3-story house. Like it's not like I'm like living in a studio apartment anymore, right? Like I'm living in a 3-story house in a kind of expensive place. Rent's like $3,000 a month. But yeah, I would say the biggest takeaway is you don't have to worry about all this other crud. You just come in, learn this skill set, master it, just hammer your head against the wall on this one thing. You get solid at it, and then you freaking just show up, man. It's easy. It's
And you
so
will
much
be
easier compared
successful.
to everything else. Yeah, and you
Dude,
will be successful.